Step into the spotlight.
Hey guys, Underground Geek here. And you see, sometimes when I do these videos about comic books, I like to just read the comic book and then do a review without doing any kind of studying up on the subject or anything, going back and reading old issues or anything, because people that read these comics nowadays, who they're trying to sell to is the newer market. You can't go out there and sell something like Ragman to somebody that's an old Ragman reader, because who goes out trying to read Ragman? I mean, that doesn't even sound appealing. Superman, yes. Batman, yeah. But so they have to kind of market these things to a more open public, kind of like when you do movies about superheroes. You want to try to kind of do the movie to where somebody that has never seen a Batman movie can go watch that Batman movie and be able to say, okay, I get what's going on. And so when I read this Ragman comic, about halfway through it, I thought, what the heck is happening? What's going on right now? Now, I still like the comic. I like the idea of these I always love superheroes or anti-heroes that transform, okay? That's always fun to me, because it's like he's taking away his normalness and he's becoming something extraordinary. Just like Ethan Van Sciver said, he loves the transformation sequences. I love the transformation sequences. Venom when he puts on his Venom outfit, Superman when he tears open his shirt, Flash when he opens up his ring, Power Rangers when they morph. It's just a fun sequence, and it's about to hit the fan. Ash when he turns his hat around backwards, it's about to get real. So when I was doing Ragman here, I look at the cover, and the cover is what made me want to buy it. I looked at the cover here, and it's very detailed. You can tell it's hand-drawn. It's got some cool effects in here. It's got the rags. He's got the bullet shells. He's got the grenade going off. He's got the weird alien skeleton. It's got a lot of detail. It's got a lot of lore going on. You look at this cover and you're like, what's going on here? What has happened? Is this a horror comic? Is this a hero comic? What's going on? So as we open it up here, we get a nice little advertisement here for Doomsday Clock. I like this right here because they are teasing the heck out of us. They got Lex Luthor with somebody on his shoulder, and you see that gauntlet on their hand, on their arm. You're thinking, this looks familiar. Then you read the quote, "I hope you'll forgive me while I warm up. I haven't done this in a while. Ozymandias." Oh man, cool. Anyway, it's Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. That's going to be very good. But so we start out the story here, and it's somewhere in the Israeli desert 6 months ago, okay? And basically there's this SEAL team, and they're doing some investigating. Somebody has given them a tip that there's some gold in this temple. So they are checking it out because it's gold. They want to get some gold. I want the gold. Where's the gold? Show me the gold. Comment down the bottom if you know where that phrase is from. I want the gold. Where's the gold? If you get it, you're good. But anyway, so they say they got a tip. They start naming everybody off. They say Rory Reagan because he's the main antagonist or protagonist in the story. Rory Reagan is in charge of the charges, so he puts the charge up on the wall, blows a hole in the wall, and then we cut to Gotham City now. And so he's in a vet PTSD meeting. He's talking about, everybody's talking about they're having problems dealing. He's having problems dealing, and I like how they talk about that because they're dealing with real world issues. Nobody talks about the vets anymore. They talk about them, but they don't mention how hard it is for them to get along. Kind of like they talked about in, I think it was it Winter Soldier, that we really got to see how Captain America is dealing with his problems and how the Falcon's dealing with his kind of PTSD type stuff, and you're really kind of relating to them about what happens in war. I like that because they're talking about it here. But then we quickly cut back to the past sequence, and they blew up the wall, but now there's another wall. And in suspenseful action horror movie fashion, the wall has writing all over it, sealed it up like some kind of ritual. And what are they going to do? Completely ignore that and blow that wall up too. So they blew a hole in it, and then when they get in there, it's a temple. And instantly I'm thinking, well, all the times I've watched that movie, The Mummy, this isn't going to end well. Leave now. Imhotep's in there, and he's going to kill everybody. He's going to be yelling, Hebut Setna to everybody and telling them to destroy you. But so anyway, they're walking around looking, and they see the tomb, and they're thinking, you know, that's obviously got gold in it, so let's pop that tomb open. He says, and then we get a nice little talk back and forth between Frank and Rory there. You know, you can tell they're best buddies because he says, Frank, you don't have to protect me. He says, I always have, Twig, since we were in the schoolyard. Don't tell me to stop now. And you can kind of see the brotherhood between them all. But so they open it up, and they can't figure out what it is. They're like, what the heck is this? And then one of the guys says, Sarge, there's movement in the temple. And they're telling Twig, which is Rory, to make them a new exit. So then they said, wake up, we got incoming. Is it the second team? No, this zone is all clear. It's civilian or this ain't right. Why still a chest full of, there's a trick or a hidden panel or something. So then the guys start coming in, and they've got glowing eyes, and we know something's not right here. But then when he tries to blow the wall, it's a dud that doesn't go off. So something's happening there. And then we cut back to present day, and he's going to his father's antique store. And his father's worried about him because, you know, he's got PTSD. You know, if he ever just goes off and doesn't check in, then he knows something may be up. You know, he's just very protective of him. And he talks about, you know, you don't have to protect me all the time. He says, spoken like a man without a son. I worried when you was overseas. I worried when you were in the hospital. And now you used to love this shop. Now you rock around through it like you don't even see it. Like it's not even there. And so they're trying to talk about things, and then they cut to a birthday party with one of his ex-teammates' sons, and he's talking to the wife there. And you get this nice little moment with them because he's saying, you know, she's saying, Frank Jr., he's having problems fighting a lot. When his dad didn't come back from overseas with you, you grew up with him, you fought with him, you must understand. I miss him so bad, Rory. I never loved anyone but him, and Junior's so angry all the time. And then Junior hits the pinata, explodes, and makes a noise, which triggers one of his PTSD moments. And he sees his buddy laying on the ground dead. And then the rest of them are trying to fight. And then he's seeing moments in these little segments here where he's in his meetings, and there's more fighting, more death, and then something's coming out of the tomb. And some voice is talking to him saying, you're not crazy. So then he goes back, and we're in his room again. It goes, you know, some people would say, wow, there's too many cutscenes, but it kind of makes sense because his PTSD moments just flash, 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 you know. He doesn't really have time to become accustomed to it, so they're trying to show you that same way. And I love the store name of his dad's shop, Rags and Tatters. It's a really, really kind of a homage to the storyline there. And so he's talking about how he's not worthy to be the only one left alive. He doesn't feel like he's worth anything compared to the other guys. You know, he just really feels bad. And so then he's talking about how when he's walking in through the streets sometimes, he feels like everybody's watching him. You know, everybody's these creatures, and they're just keeping an eye on him. And then the voice says to him again, they're real. Don't move. And then we get this moment with this splash page here where really I instantly thought of Spider-Man when he got the black suit. Do you remember on the animated series when he woke up and he was on the side of the building looking at the glass and he saw himself? That's what I felt like here. You know, he wakes up, something's took over, and he's been transformed. You know, I instantly, that's what it kind of brought to me, and I thought, I don't know if this is what they were going for, But that kind of pulled me into the story because I was able to relate these two scenes. Then we get the nice little tower in the background, keep Gotham clean. At the same time, you see all the smoke and the disruptiveness of all the neon signs. And he says, "Where am I?" And then he hears, this is where it gets it kind of takes me back a little bit because it moves too fast. I can't get what's going on because he and the other characters look too much alike, and I can't tell the difference between the both of them. You know what I mean? They should have made the two characters look more different, but you're going to see what I mean in just a second. But he hears screaming. Something tells him to go there. So he goes, and then we get this splash page here where he's attacking someone that's attacking an innocent bystander. They start having a fight. This thing starts speaking in like this cryptic talk. Let me see if I can zoom into some of this where I can read it. But he says, what does he say here? He says, "Transform thyself, mercenary, square with me. Art thou not Rag?" So he's trying to attack something. He thinks it's on the same level as him. And he's like, "Why aren't you transforming, you know?" And he says, "What the heck?" And Ragman says, "Yeah, that's what I was going to say." And then the creature says, "We'll have you," and grabs him and starts trying to take his rags off of him. And then he says, "What are you? I keep seeing things like you skulking around following me." Knocks him back. They're starting to have a little fight there. He says, "Are you so ignorant? How mindless are mortals that your brains are like stones?" You know, he's speaking in this cryptic tone. And he says, "You walk ever asleep to the true world, ever." And then the Ragman powers take over. And he says, "Forbear, I cannot answer your questions. Divest yourself of your fell spoils and return them to their rightful master. You are cursed now and will destroy all that you love." He's trying to tell him, you know, what's going to happen with this rag power. And he says, "Thief, do not drain me. You will, you will." And he goes, "What? Wait, drain you? What are you talking about?" And then the rags actually absorb the creature. And he says, "I didn't mean to." And then that's when the creature starts talking. And we start to figure out what's going on. He says, "Don't worry, boss. We got you. Finally got a little more juice. Now we can talk right." So then you can kind of see what's going on. It absorbs things and becomes more powerful. "No such luck, boss. You want to ask the freak you just took down any questions? He's still in here. Just took him prisoner, kinda. You make him answer now." And so he says, "Here, where I don't even I need some rest. Pop was right. Am I dreaming? What am I doing?" He says, "You don't remember, do you? You just hang tight. We'll get you home." He says, but you're all dead." He knows that this is his team talking to him, his dead teammates. He says, "Not quite, Twig. Think again. Think back to the battle. Remember." And then we finally see the battle. They're trying to fight all the creatures off. Then he cuts back again. He's talking to the creature. He says, "Need to take a break, Twig. Then been trying to talk to you, but couldn't hear us properly before. We'll get you inside. We'll get you up to speed. There's a lot you need to know. You might have trouble making sense of things." He says, "Yeah, I got to get inside. Sort this out. Talk to Pop." And that's when a grenade goes off in front of him. But then, at the same time, there's an explosion in his father's store. Knocks him back on the ground. He says, "No, no, no. They found you," the creature says. Or his teammates say. He says, "Careful, whatever these things are. This is bad, boss. Look at them." And you see these creatures, and they have the same marks on their chests like him. So something's up with them, obviously. They're some kind of superpowered creatures like him. I have a feeling this isn't going to go well in the next comic because these creatures look like they mean business. It's an ambush. I don't care what it is. They got my pop. They want to fight, they'll have one. You know, that always works out for the protagonist when he first gets his powers. So, Chapter 1, Return Fire of Ragman. Okay, pretty good story, but it takes off so fast there halfway through, you kind of have trouble keeping up. But all in all, I still liked it. It was very, very cool. I love superpowered creatures like this with some kind of lore. And let's talk about the people that did the book. Ray Fox is the writer. Inake Miranda is the artist. Eva De La Cruz is the colorist. Josh Reed is the letterer, and Gillian March did the cover. We need to keep an eye on him because he's obviously very good. The only thing I can say is I wish that the colors between the creatures are a little bit different so I could, tell them apart. But I understand that's what they're going for too, because they're the same kind of creatures. You know, they need to differentiate them from regular humans, but at the same time, they need to look like they're in a cohesive world. That's what they always talk about on Face Off. They need to look like they're from a cohesive world. So I can understand that. But anyway, what did you guys think about this first issue? I thought it was pretty good. I can't wait for the second issue. I'm going to keep an eye on this comic. Tell me if you want me to review issue number 2. I think I can kind of bring a unique perspective to this comic because I like these kind of heroes. I'm very drawn to the war hero turned superhero stories. You know what I mean? Like they're already awesome, and then you give them superpowers to make them even more awesome to defend the people that they love. You know? But anyway, guys, tell me what you think about this. Hit the thumbs up. Hit the notification button so you don't miss any of my videos. And stay tuned for more videos today. There's lots of comics that come out that I'm going to be talking about. All right, guys. Underground Geek out.